He flagged the suspicious email. He ran his verification checklist. He joined the live video call to confirm the request face-to-face with his own chief financial officer and senior colleagues. Every instinct told him it was real. Every person on that screen was an AI-generated deepfake. 15 wire transfers. $25 million gone in a single day. No system was breached. The only thing hacked was human trust. The email arrived just after 9 in the morning, flagged as urgent and marked confidential. Its sender was the company's chief financial officer. The subject line referenced a high-level acquisition and included the correct transaction code, a detail only insiders should know. The finance officer paused. He checked the sender's address against the internal directory. The match was perfect. No stray characters, no telltale misspelling. He examined the technical headers. SPF and DKIM signatures lined up with the company's mail gateway. The message had passed every automated filter. Still, the request was bold. Move funds for a sensitive project today without delay. Company policy demanded more than a glance. He opened the checklist step by step. The guardrails were designed to catch exactly this sort of ruse. First, he sent a verification text to the personal mobile number for the CFO using a number stored on a secure device. The reply came back within minutes. The message said, "Go ahead. Urgent." The wording matched the format for high-priority approvals. The email also carried a calendar invite for a video call the following morning. The invite was formatted correctly, with the name of the CFO, a valid Zoom link, and an agenda that mirrored past meetings. It looked like every other executive briefing, right down to the digital signature. He logged the request in the payment portal, triggering the dual signatory workflow required for transfers above £250,000. Each step, each confirmation, each digital token matched protocol. The system had been built to block fraud, but every box was ticked. The only thing left was to join the call and see the CFO's face. If anything seemed off, he would stop the transfer. If not, the money would move. In that moment, every safeguard seemed intact, until the screen lit up with familiar faces. The finance officer joined the call at the scheduled hour, expecting a routine sign-off. On his screen, the company's chief financial officer appeared, flanked by 2 other senior executives. Each face looked and moved as expected. The chief financial officer greeted him by name, referencing details from last quarter's reports, even joking about a recent office renovation. The head of procurement chimed in, nodding at the urgency of the project and the need to act before regulatory windows closed. The legal officer confirmed that all compliance paperwork was already in place. Their voices matched every internal recording, every town hall, every board meeting the officer had attended. The chief financial officer's accent, choice of words, and familiar pauses left no room for doubt. Throughout the call, the chief financial officer's avatar maintained steady eye contact, blinking and shifting in a way that felt completely natural. When the officer hesitated, the chief financial officer pressed the point. The board had approved the transaction, the timeline was tight, and any delay could jeopardize the deal. The other avatars echoed the urgency, each reinforcing the need for immediate action. No one interrupted. No technical glitches broke the flow. In the moment, the authority of live video and synchronized voices overwhelmed every lingering suspicion. What the officer could not see was that each participant, except for himself, was a synthetic construct, generated in real time from hours of publicly available footage. The AI models behind the call had been trained to mimic not just faces and voices, but the subtle patterns of speech and gesture that signal trust. The presence of multiple executives, delivered with the fluidity of a genuine meeting, erased any doubt that this was a legitimate directive. With every cue of authority perfectly executed, the final barrier fell. The payment instructions delivered on that call now seemed irrefutable. 15 wire transfers left the company's treasury portal in rapid succession. Each transaction, logged with a digital signature and timestamp, moved millions from the firm's main account to a series of unfamiliar beneficiaries. The finance officer authorized the first batch, then the next, following instructions delivered during the video call. No alarm sounded. The Treasury interface displayed only the cold logic of numbers, 5 million here, 10 million there, each payment routed to a different bank account. Each account newly registered and labeled for the project. The system processed the wires as routine business, batching the payments to avoid triggering velocity flags. In a single business day, 15 separate transfers drained a total of $25.6 million, nearly 200 million Hong Kong dollars, dispersed across 5 accounts controlled by the fraudsters. Vanished into the clearing system, split among shell companies with no prior history in the firm's vendor ledger. The Treasury software, designed to streamline legitimate payouts, became an unwitting accomplice. Every confirmation screen, every digital receipt reinforced the illusion of normalcy. By the time the finance officer paused to review the ledger, the money was already gone, irreversible, fragmented, and beyond reach. The Treasury portal's logic, silent until now, finally intervened. On the 16th attempt, the system froze the transaction mid-execution. A red alert flashed on the finance officer's dashboard. Payment blocked. Cumulative threshold exceeded. The Treasury software had been programmed with a daily exposure cap and a velocity rule. No more than 15 high-value transfers to new beneficiaries within a single business day. This time, the automated defense held. The officer, startled by the abrupt halt, watched as the system locked down the transfer queue and flagged the anomaly for immediate audit. Within minutes, the internal audit lead received the alert. The protocol demanded a rapid escalation, an independent review, a cross-check of all recent beneficiary registrations, and a direct notification to senior management. By noon, the audit team had assembled in the secure operations room, combing through digital signatures, transaction logs, and approval tokens. Law enforcement was contacted before the day ended. The Treasury's hard-coded rule had stopped the fraudsters from extracting even more. For the first time since the scheme began, human eyes were back in control. The forensic investigation would begin with a single blocked transfer, a digital footprint left behind by an automated safeguard, just barely fast enough to matter. No malware, no password theft, no network intrusion, only a stream of public information and a handful of consumer-grade tools. The attackers began by scraping high-definition footage of the company's executives from YouTube, LinkedIn, and corporate webinars. Every keynote, every panel discussion, every town hall uploaded over the years became raw material. With hours of video and clear audio, they built a training set that captured not just faces and voices, but the subtle quirks that make a person believable on camera. The process required no privileged access. Open source software like Deepfake Lab and Wave 2 Lip handled the facial animation, while voice cloning models such as real-time voice cloning reproduced speech patterns from as little as a minute of audio. A single high-end graphics card, no different from those used by gamers or designers, was enough to train the models in under a day. Cloud GPU services, available for a few dollars an hour, made the process even faster. Once the models were tuned, the real-time pipeline stitched everything together. As the video call unfolded, the attacker's webcam feed was transformed on the fly. The CFO's synthetic face moved and spoke in perfect sync with the attacker's words, while the cloned voice responded instantly to questions. With latency kept under 200 milliseconds, the illusion held up even under live scrutiny. The entire deepfake operation, from data harvest to live deployment, could be assembled in less than 48 hours. No system breach was required, only the right footage and the will to use it. Deepfake fraud is no longer a fringe threat. The cost of launching a convincing executive impersonation has plummeted. Analysts now put the barrier below $500 for a full live video attack, including voice cloning and real-time facial animation. Underground marketplaces offer deepfake as a service subscriptions, making it possible for criminals to outsource the technical heavy lifting. Industry forecasts are stark. By 2027, AI-driven fraud is projected to siphon off $40 billion in the United States alone. The tools are cheap, the playbook is spreading, and every organization with a recognizable leadership team is now a potential target. But the same playbook that enables these attacks can be countered. Financial leaders are rewriting their verification checklists. One of the most effective defenses is the use of a rotating code word spoken at the start of any high-value transaction request and confirmed through an independent channel, never email or video alone. Dual sign-off is no longer optional for wire transfers above key thresholds, especially when new beneficiaries are involved. Every step must leave a digital trail. Payment instructions, approval tokens, and call recordings should be preserved and audited, not just for compliance, but to ensure that evidence survives if a crime is uncovered. The message is clear. Relying on what you see and hear is no longer enough. When a convincing fake can be bought for less than the price of a laptop, the only real shield is a layered defense, one that combines human skepticism, procedural rigor, and technical verification at every turn. Today, a cautious employee can lose $25 million in days without a single system hacked. Deepfake fraud now targets trust, not firewalls. With AI-powered deception spreading, the line between real and synthetic blurs for everyone. In this new era, doubt becomes the last defense. Stay vigilant.